Welcome back to MCOC AlBundyRules. So I have a tutorial how to use on Odin here. Before the tutorial starts, so let me show you some highlights. So I honestly was expecting him to be mediocre based on early reviews I was seeing, but I had grinded for him in the 4-star arena recently, well, to get the 4-star, hit the top 800 for that, mainly for synergies is what I wanted. Then lack of preparation or research on my part, realized you needed the 5-star for the hella synergy I wanted. So I decided to make the best of it and started to look around and play with this 4-star Odin, and I have been shocked at how good he is. I'm going to refer to him as an Apocalypse 2.0, meaning when Apocalypse came out, people were saying, oh, he's okay, he's only for synergies, Apocalypse's synergies were so good, people were overlooking at first how amazing he is, which, if you're not sure about Apocalypse, I have a how-to-use tutorial on him as well. Turns out he's amazing, and I believe Odin's going to fit into this category. I got this broken down. Let's start the tutorial now, starting with Odin Sleep. Odin Sleep can be good. I hear people faulting him on Odin Sleep, but I'm not sure if they understand it. Odin Sleep is good, although it is best on the first fight when it comes up, or if you're able to rotate fights, and I'll talk about that later. But this gains bonus effects based on teammate fights won since his last fight. So if you kind of rotate him, have Odin do a fight, have someone else do a fight, it can benefit. You don't have to, but you see no Odin Sleep if I do back-to-back fights. So that is one thing to keep in mind, but usually you can rotate fights. If not, it's not the end of the world. Odin Force. When either Odin or his opponent are knocked down, you get an Odin Force charge. Easiest way to do this is either knock them down with a heavy or knock them down with a special. So we see one up there right now, and then once I knock her down, or if I get knocked down, you see right here, it's going to come on up to 2 right there. So, and I'm going to show in the tips section later about how trying to keep that at 2 for special bonuses, because you get extra bonuses, some better than others. Here on heavy attacks, so you gain an ENERCIZE buff. So one, I'm going to talk about buffs. Good thing about Odin, you can stack up buffs like crazy. This is an additional buff. The more buffs, the better with him, and it increases your power rates. If you do that when he has 2 Odin charges, you can even increase more based on your buffs and gain power rather quickly if you do have a good amount of buffs. And we will see as this video progresses, it's super easy to get a whole lot of buffs going on. So the Odin Force gives 5% power rate for 7 seconds per unique buff, as I said. So the more unique buffs you get, the more your power is going to go up on if the Odin Force is active. Extending his buff durations. This is something I think people might have noticed right away. This is one of my favorite features with them, especially because I'm an aggressive player. Look at the buffs up there. They pause. The timer pauses when you're close. So if you're an aggressive player like me, this is great. So this actually 7-second True Strike, I make this last 28 seconds because I stay close. And then as it's getting ready to expire, I am able to launch an S2 in order to restart the timer again. With some aggressive play, you can easily keep a True Strike or all the buffs active for the entire fight. S1 is how you get the True Strike, and like I said, it's a 7-second, typo on the last little one. 7 seconds is what it gets. So it ignores the armor resistance auto block, so it makes him a great auto block and evade champ, which are some of the trickier fights or nodes in the game. He's an automatic counter again. It's not really 7 seconds. I've done fights where I made that True Strike stay active for the entire fight, fights that lasted several minutes long. It's very easy to do. Stay aggressive, launch the S2, and I'm also going to speak about the S3 coming up. I'm going to show you a nice rotation that I really like later in this video, after I explain some of these other items. Here on the special 2, this is where your good damage goes, but this is also why you want a lot of buffs. The more buffs you have, unique buffs, the more damage you're going to get. You see, this is, keep in mind, this is a 4-star champion. I'm doing over 50,000 special 2s with the 4-star, okay? So it can do a great matter of damage, so that is a great thing. It also resets the timer on the buffs. It makes it super easy to keep the buffs going with that S2 while you're doing mass damage. Again, I'm going to show you a pretty good rotation that gets massive health pools down in hits less than some R5s I have. So special 3, R5 5-stars. So special 3, you can, so if you had buffs expire, this reactivates any of the buffs that were gained during the fight, And if you have the Odin Force, again, as long as you have those 2 up, you gain extended buff increase in duration of all future buffs by 25% for 15 seconds, okay? So you see that timer up there, you see extends up there, you see any buffs that I had previously that had expired have reactivated. So this brings them back and it extends. So this can be used when correctly as a massive key for keeping your buffs, your True Strike, your Furies, whatever it might be that you're trying to keep up longer for the fight, which makes the fight easier as well as it makes your S2 stronger. Keep in mind, you do get bonuses for having extra buffs with that S2 on the damage. Some support. Here's some good supporting features we see there. We see between the crossfight can be so Thunderstruck could give some that good aptitude. I always like the aptitude. We also have the Dropner, which is a protection buff, and then we have Stormbreaker for the shock resist buff. Shock resistance by 70%, so you can give those to other champs, cannot use them on Odin. Synergies are some nice. So he's been most known for his synergies. Specifically one with Hela, I am showing 5-star synergies right here. His best, well, his most well-known synergy is the one with Hela. I have a 4-star, so I haven't been able to use that synergy. But you do see on the 5-star, that one right there, 5 and 6-star, you get this Hela synergy, which is a big one. But I do use in this video the Heimdall synergy. I'm going to speak more about that. But if you use Heimdall or a little Heimdall synergy team, you can easily get 3 additional buffs on command for the fight, which makes a big difference on Odin. And I'll show that in the tips. So again, the well-known synergy, the one that's kind of overrode Odin as a whole as a character, is this one right there, but you need a 5-star. So let's talk about tips for use. So on Evaders, auto-blockers, champs, use that S1. Stay close. Watch the timer. You see how I got the S1 on True Strike. You see how it pauses while the special is going and when I stay close. Look at how I'm close right there. And a lot of times this is going to give me enough time to get to the S2 to reactivate it. So S2 is where I get the most damage anyway, so it's a win-win. I reset the timer and I get the most damage. So I like how you get both for the price of one with that S2. So use the S2 to reset it. Use that aggressive play. Keep that True Strike up right there. And as we see, I still got that. You last way longer than 7 seconds when you use it correctly. And it's really not that hard. And watch me reset it right there. Look at that. It doesn't take that much to get this done. Tip 2, maximize your buffs. There's a ton of ways. I'm going to show some of the main ones that I like so far on buffs. Rotate fights for Odin. So his first fight or other champs that win the fight between his last fight will give you this Odin sleep with that Fury and the defense armor up, so that's 2 extra buffs. The synergy team, Heimdall, bring Heimdall. Heimdall has a few synergies, ones like Hela, Thor, Rags, Loki that can give when you dash back and hold block extra buffs. You can get a lot of extra buffs like this. S3, if they expired, they return buffs that used during the fight, and it extends the duration of future buffs, again making it easier to keep the buffs going. To get Odin's good damage, you need to worry. It's all about keeping the buffs up, so that's why this tip is so important. Take note of some of these. So the aggressive play pauses the buff timer. You want as many buffs up unique as you can while you're especially doing that special too. So these tips right here are imperative to get this good damage. Tip 3, so I'm going to show you an entire fight. This is going to be an ROL Winter Soldier fight. I like the rotation of S1, S3, S2 with occasional heavies. I'm going to explain what I mean by this and why. So I am going to finish this fight in similar or even less hits than many R5s I have, 5-star R5s, or even some R2 6-stars I have. So I use the S1 even against non-evaders because it gives me a buff. More buffs, the more damage once again I have. So I will start off with that. I then like to go to S3 because that can bring back any expired buffs. It also gives me an extended duration. You're going to see the extended duration up. So now I got my extra buff from S1. I get my S3. If I can get any other buffs from other ways, such as Heimdall synergy, I want to bring those up too. So we see I have a lot of buffs now. Now I'm going to start spamming S2. As I mentioned already, I get more damage per unique buff. So we're going to see the damage up top, and we're going to see some damage. So now I just keep spamming S2. I do like to, though, get in occasional heavies when I'm remembering and paying attention before my S2 because that extends my buff timer. There I did it with 1, but that's okay. I got a second one here. So my next S2 is going to automatically extend all the durations, and it also gives me one because I knock them down as well. So I can squeeze in heavies in between S2 spamming, and that allows me to keep extending my durations of these buffs as much as possible. We did see that I did let a true strike slip right there based on a little bit of slowness on my side, but that is okay. And that was really my fault for not doing my initial S2 with 2 Odin charges. So now that also kind of gives you the importance of making sure you have the 2 Odin charges. If you miss it, you can lose a buff along the way. I can easily regain True Strike by doing an S1 or doing an S3 if I so choose. However, for the purpose of this, I'm just going to keep on going forward because I do have enough buffs going on, and I am just going to keep slashing away Winter Soldier. I mentioned that he is doing more damage as a 4-star than some of my R5 5-stars, and I can prove that if you don't believe that. If you look at a video I did recently in a competition I did, Cyclock versus Magic, a quantitative analysis, I showed Magic R5 on this exact same fight with no synergies. I did two different videos on it. The first one I had her with synergies, but not a full synergy team and not the ideal synergy team. She finishes this fight of approximately 550,000 health in a similar hit count. I think actually a few more hits, if I remember correctly, than this 4-star Odin. When I used an entire synergy team for the 5-star Magic, she did it in a little less hits, but not a whole lot. And a fairly similar time, especially without her synergy team. And Magic is pretty good. There's a lot of really good R5 5-stars out there that do less damage than her that are going to do a lot more hits. So I'm not comparing him to any champ specifically. I'm comparing with the fact that he is much better than what people are saying. Did 156 hits for a 4-star is pretty dang good in just over 3 minutes. Again, that's better results than I've done on this fight on several of my R5 5-stars. So I'm hoping you found this video useful. I'm hoping you see the light that Odin is way more than just synergies and support. Dang good champ. Don't forget to watch my other tutorials, my other videos. Don't forget to click on the link in the top left, subscribe to MCOC AlBundyRules, and watch one of my recommended videos or playlists down below.